special day for me today. 100th episode. I didn't think I'd make it here, especially not this quickly. When I first started YouTube, I had this idea in my mind that I'm gonna, not overwork myself, not push too hard, just take it one step at a time and relax. I try to do videos just once a week. But then I realized that took me so long to do that if I could just get out here, if I could just start talking, if I could just get out of my own way, out of my own head, then there's just nothing really stopping me from making 100 videos, 200 videos, 1,000 videos. I did my first videos, I'd come out, I sit there, God, I think about it over and over again. Like I try to Vsauce it, I would call it Vsauce as in the other YouTube channel, where in my sense I would try to research a specific topic, try to watch videos, read books on that topic, write something out. It all sounds logical. Sit there for a week, write out a script, re-edit it. Literally, it'd be mostly me editing. It was a lot of stress. It was a lot of worry because I'm just worried about how it's gonna come out because I'm overthinking it so much, and then I get out there to actually do it. And where am I? Am I gonna be here trying to read a script? I'm at my house, sitting down in a chair. I got the computer in front of me and my energy's a lot more forced. I'm a lot more awkward because I'm reading a script. I'm not just coming out here. I'm not just being myself. I'm not just flowing with it. I'm not just going with it, going with the flow, letting my mouth just say whatever and not overthink it. Honestly, really it's just I got out of my own way. I got out of my own head. I started believing in myself. I believe that if I would have just come out here. Recently, the biggest thing that's been for me that I've been trying to do is I started off where I was like, okay, forget the script. Let's just have a topic. Let's just have a subject. And I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna make a video on that topic. I'm gonna make a video on that subject. And it's I come here and it's okay, this is what I'm gonna talk about. And then I talk about it. And then what's weird is I realized even that thought, even just that one thought, just the opening topic, thinking about it on the way here, even if I don't start thinking about what else I want to talk about, just that one thought, it puts me in my head a little bit more, because then I'm still focused on it. I'm still thinking about something. I'm thinking about anything. So I come out here, I'm a little bit more in my head, and then what happens? I get a 4-minute video. I force myself to get a 10-minute video, maybe if I'm lucky. And I've told this story before, that the first time I ever went out and I had no idea what I was gonna say. It was kind of scary, but you gotta be brave a little bit. And I just had no idea what I was gonna say whatsoever. And I showed up somewhere, I took out the camera, I just stood there, I started talking, and I ended up with the longest video that I shot at the time besides my scripted one. And it's the scripted one, well, I worked on a script for a long time so I could make it that long, and then I still had to add to it as I was shooting the video to get it to be that long. So this was a significant deal for me. I shot a 16-minute video. I felt like a boss. I felt beast. It felt so good. It felt so enlivening. It was a great experience for me. I guess really too, I want to just recommend for you, try to get out of your own way, whatever it is you want to do in life. I don't think, the mind serves its purpose. The mind serves its purpose, but you don't necessarily need to think everything out. There's a use for it. There's such a great use for it. For example, I'm working at a store right now, and I could be there in the store. I'm dealing with a customer and I already know the next step. How do I know the next step? I had to think about it. I planned it out. I knew what I was gonna do about it. I knew how I was gonna pass that step, how I was gonna get to the next step. It's you already have everything planned, everything just kind of flows smoothly, and there's a real beauty to that flow state, I'm gonna call it. But what I really want to kind of express here is just the power of trusting in yourself, trusting that you know what you got to do and that you're going to be able to figure it out on the spot. you're gonna be able to figure it out on the spot. Really, this is like really in the moment, in a way that it sounds really spiritual woo-woo. People think it as some kind of spiritual, godlike experience when they're actually truly somewhere where they are, where they're not experiencing any fear, not experiencing any doubts, any worries, any stress, any concerns. They're free of thoughts. Like, you can still be thinking. It doesn't necessarily mean you stop thinking, but you don't let those thoughts take you where they want to go. You're just kind of still living your life while thoughts are just passing by you, and you're just focused on where you are. You're not worried about anything else. Now, this, if you can comprehend what the picture I'm trying to paint, this is kind of a scary thing, because then you're sitting there with the customer. You're coming from this mindset where you're not overthinking anything. You're just trusting in yourself. You believe in yourself. You know that you have a problem. You're going to overcome it. There's no fear in your heart, no fear in your soul. You're not worried about anything. Truly, not like worried about something like, oh, I'm thinking about that, now I'm worried about that, but no, wait, now I'm not thinking about it, now I'm not worrying about it. But lots of times that feeling of fear, of worry, of stress, of anxiety, the feeling behind it stays within us. And even though we're not currently having anxiety, we're not currently having stress, you can still carry around the weight of it. And that's what people are kind of missing when I try to explain certain things like this. I think they're missing the fact that you can still be carrying around the weight of the stress, the weight of the anxiety, the weight of the worry, and it's not letting you be truly here where you are. And the reason why that kind of makes sense is because you're not. If you're thinking about something, if you're, even like when I'm like at work and I'm helping a customer, if I'm thinking about the next thing I gotta do, then technically I'm more focused on the next thing I gotta do than what I'm actually currently doing at the moment. And like I said, there's a time, there's a place, there's a power to that, but there's even way more power and not thinking about that next step and not thinking about that next thing you gotta do, and just focusing on what you're focused on now. And see why it makes sense to say that you're not living in the moment when you're thinking about something else, when you're planning for the future, when you have any sort of worries, is because you're there. Physically, you're here. Spiritually, maybe your soul is here, your body's here, but your mind isn't imagining another situation, a future situation. Now, it may be completely correct, it may be completely true, and everything in there may be right, but what I'm trying to lay down some groundwork right now, but while you're doing that, you're not here. Your mind, you're physically here, your body's here, but your mind is somewhere else. Your mind is sort of lost in a dream. That's kind of a big pill to swallow, that the main purpose of the mind is to dream. And you literally are in a dream state, and I mean that in every sense of the word. If you can break out of this, if you can break out of, excessive thinking, negative thoughts, negative emotions, if you can break out of fear, anxiety, worry, just thinking to no end. Thinking to no end. If you can break out of that, it's like your state of mind, where your mind is, your mental state changes, it shifts. It's not the same experience. You're not living the same experience. You're not experiencing life from the same perspective. What is life? That's a good way to put this. What is life but your perspective, but the way you see the world? And what's your perspective? Is that not subject to change? Does your perspective over something not change whether, you're stressed out or whether you're happy? Doesn't that make you look at something like, if I'm just looking at these plants here and I'm really, really stressed out, I might be like, just something weird like that. But if I'm happy, I'm just carefree, I want to kind of just jump into it. I want to just almost like merge into it, just like lay down into it, just like become a part of it. I lay down some good groundwork here. I guess this video, this is one of my videos too, where I came out here and I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I just figured I'd just show up and make it up as I go along. But I feel like in this video, I lay down the groundwork for understanding what it really means to be in the moment, what it really means to be present, to be self-aware, self-actualized. What does it really mean to live without fear, without negative thoughts and emotions, without worries, and the fact that this can change your life? And I believe the reason, like I'm trying to explain to you that there's a different state of mind you can go into. That's kind of the simplest way I could put it, whereas like your mind is not the same. Like your mind is not the same when you're happy versus when you're sad. There's even physically, you can see physical differences in it with your chemical balance that goes on in your mind. Your mind, you know, as response to certain situations, maybe certain foods you eat, it might put in good chemicals. In response to other situations, maybe potentially other foods you don't eat, things you don't like, it could put in bad chemicals. Literally, your brain pumps you with chemicals. I mean, you might know this already, but for those who don't, your brain literally pumps you with chemicals to make you feel different ways. Lots of times your emotions have to do with your chemical balance, with your diet. Yeah, I feel like I said that word diet and I was like, I can make a whole video just on the idea of how diet really does affect how you feel, because it's really changing your chemical balance, it's changing your innards, it's changing your state of mind, your emotional state. Just thinking about food right now, I feel like is affecting my mind sense. Maybe in a negative sense too, because I've realized a lot of things that I just love to eat so much are bringing down my state of mind, bringing down my energy, bringing down my power. My power levels are going down when I eat bad. Power. I just wanted to say it for the third time. Feels good. Power, 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 power. I feel like the reason, out of just like a life experience, the reason it's so hard to be present in the moment, have a spiritual experience, have a godlike experience, even be fucking happy, to just be happy, to just be free of thoughts, free of anxiety, free of stress, free of worries. The reason it's so hard to do is because when you go to that place, your mind is afraid. Your mind is getting afraid of that place. Your mind wants to. It wants to tell you, you gotta pre-think everything you're doing. If you don't think about it, you're not gonna do it. And then if you don't do it, then I don't know, then we're gonna die. That's kind of basically, that's really like a brute way to explain how the mind works. It's like, yeah, the customer's here. I gotta think about the next thing, so because I gotta do it. I gotta know what it is so I can do it. So let's think about it. But I'm like, bro, chill. You do this step that you're working on now, here in the moment, shooting this video, and then when the customer's in front of me and I'm dealing with that step, I deal with the next step. That was kind of I feel like that wording came out a little funny, but the general idea, what I wanted to explain is that the mind is afraid of this. It's afraid of any kind of spiritual, godlike presence in the moment, carefree, happy. It's afraid of being carefree. It's afraid of being worry-free. It's afraid of being stress-free. Your mind, your body, all of it. The logical mind was built as a survival mechanism for you. It wasn't built, as Tony Robbins loves to say all the time, it wasn't built to make you happy. Happiness is something you gotta work on yourself. It was built to help you survive. It was built to trick you to sitting down, laying down, resting all day, conserving your energy, non-stop eating food because it wants you to build up energy, and it doesn't get that maybe you're 400 pounds overweight and you can't walk around. It doesn't get that. That's too logical for it. What it does get is that if you keep eating food and you save your energy, you'll be ready for when the brain apocalypse comes, for when there's no food, for when you're starving. Because we've been a lot of times in human civilization, there have been real reasons for this. If you go back far enough, humans may have been made so they eat a large meal and then maybe you don't get to eat for another 3 days. So when you see food, it wants you to eat all of it. But we got to bring ourselves into our modern day world, learn how to work around it, because the brain is millions of years old. It's doing everything backwards. It's doing everything old school. And I'm trying to, honestly, this video is to bring you into today's world, into the modern day world, to teach you how to function in it, to teach you how to take back control of your mind and your body, your mental and emotional health. I honestly, like I tell my girlfriend, it's like, my job isn't just taking you out. My job is managing her mental and emotional health. Like these flowers. And that's completely true in every sense of the word. I do that for myself. I do that for people around me. I'm always like conscious of where their mental state is, where their emotional state is, how I'm making them feel. Stop biting me! Been bit a couple times here. Probably gonna wrap up this video. I only got like 4 minutes on the camera before it cuts me off. I could always shoot another video, but groundwork! I feel like that's been my new thing in a lot of my videos recently. Trying to come back to basics, trying to lay out groundwork so that you guys can go back and understand my videos. Because I looked at some of my videos and it's like, I could get where I'm rambling a lot and where I'm just jumping from point to point to point. Sorry, bug, I didn't mean to kill you. Might be it's time for me to get out of here. I accidentally killed the bug. I feel bad about that. It's like, I feel like I see that how I am jumping from point to point to point, but I do feel like I need to pull myself back, slow myself down a little bit, maybe stick to one point and, like, as you know, I've been told, explain that point out further so you can understand that, and then we can move on to the next point. I feel like I could go on all day. I got so much information I want to give you guys. I want to change your lives. I want to help you. I want to encourage you. I want to inspire you. I want to motivate you. I want to give you knowledge, wisdom, and just literally everything. I'm not here to be quite like anyone else. I'm here to be that motivational, inspirational speaker, while also being one who's really knowledgeable and actually has a lot of good information, practical information, and techniques that you can apply to change yourselves. I'm being bit so many times. Oh God. But I'm gonna leave it on that last point, kind of just reaffirm it. The mind, like, because I had an experience once where I was truly in the moment, and the only way to stay there is if you believe in yourself, if you're confident in yourself, if you believe that when you face a problem, you face a situation, it might not be a problem, but just anything, you believe that you know what you have to do, or that you're gonna figure it out, and that you can figure it out without overthinking it, that you can just keep flowing in action, keep flowing in engagement and life force and energy, and just keep moving forward no matter what, and there's nothing to stop you. But it takes self-confidence, and it takes a strong belief in yourself, a strong belief in that whatever problem comes your way, you're gonna solve it. Because if you're worried about anything, you're gonna break your state. Then you're gonna go back into the regular state. It's not like I'm saying I'm some expert at being in the perfect state, but I've experienced it. I know how I got there, and I'm trying to share with you how I've really just tapped into a better side of me, a side of me that has more power, has more potential, a side of me that's unlimited power and unlimited potential. Because there's a power, like I said, to thinking about what you're gonna do, but you're also, the more you think, the more energy you're wasting. And if you don't waste any energy thinking, then you have the ability to do whatever you want to do. But now if you have a huge groundwork, a huge plan, you lay it out for everything you want to do, but you're still there thinking, now you don't have the energy, you don't have the encouragement, you don't have the motivation to actually go out and do it. But if you can learn to believe in yourself, to believe that even without a plan, even without knowing what you're gonna do, that you're gonna figure it out, you're gonna overcome it, you're gonna get to that next level of your life, you're gonna grow as a person, you're gonna grow or your relationships, your business, your career, anything it is you want to do, even if it's just you want to become someone I gotta check, camera's about to cut me off. Someone who's just happier, more carefree, and more having fun. There's no reason you can't do it. All you need to do is be here and now with me. And when those thoughts come in your mind, let them float on by and don't follow them where they want to go. Just be like, oh, thought, and let the thought keep going. Have a nice life.